They built homes with their bare hands, fished in icy rivers, and lived miles from civilization. But what happens when the wilderness fades and reality hits harder than any Alaskan winter? Since Alaskan Bush People first aired in 2014, fans followed the Brown family's incredible off-grid lifestyle. But behind the survival skills and family bonds was a story the cameras never told: loss, addiction, betrayal, and rebirth. As of 2025, the Brown family has scattered, each walking a vastly different path. So where are they now? Let's find out what really happened to the Brown family after the final cut. It started with Billy Brown, the heart and soul of the Brown clan. Born December 3, 1952 in Fort Worth, Texas, Billy's childhood ended in tragedy. At just 16, he lost his parents and sister in a devastating plane crash, leaving him alone and homeless. But Billy didn't collapse. He adapted. He wandered. He survived. And he dreamed of something different. Years later, he married Amy, who was just 15 at the time, and together they began raising their family of 7 in the harsh, unfiltered wilds of Alaska. When Discovery Channel picked up their story in 2014, Alaskan Bush People quickly became a hit. Billy's philosophy of freedom, family, and forging your own path captured attention. But with that spotlight came pressure, and eventually pain. While the family showed viewers how to survive nature, they were privately battling something much more brutal. In 2017, Amy Brown was diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer. Doctors gave her a terrifying 3% chance of survival. Her children feared the worst, but Amy fought through intense chemotherapy and radiation. By the end of the year, she was declared cancer-free. But victory came at a cost. The family had to leave Alaska for Washington to access better medical care. The mountains gave way to roads, freedom became hospitals. Still, they stuck together, at least for a while. Then came the biggest blow of all. On February 7, 2021, Billy Brown suffered a fatal seizure at their Washington property. He was just 68. His death wasn't just the end of a life. It was the end of Alaskan Bush People, as fans knew it. The show limped on into its 14th season in 2022, focusing on the children, but without Billy's presence, the soul of the show was gone. Viewers could feel it. The family was grieving. Behind the scenes, chaos unfolded. The show quietly faded away, unofficially ending, but the family's personal stories were just beginning to unfold. Matt, the eldest sibling, appeared steady during the early seasons, but beneath the surface, he was struggling. Addiction forced him to leave the show in 2019. He entered rehab and began his recovery journey. But between 2018 and 2020, Matt faced intense personal challenges, including public accusations of drug use and financial exploitation. He also claimed his father withheld money from him. And in 2018, he was accused of misconduct by 2 women. The LAPD investigated, but charges were never filed. Today, Matt lives off-grid in Washington near the family's old property. He spends his days farming, beekeeping, and hiking, and his nights in quiet solitude. He's become an advocate for sobriety, marking his clean milestones online. His YouTube and Instagram accounts are filled with reflections, survival tips, and personal growth updates. Still, Matt remains estranged from the rest of the family. Bear once said, "Matt does his own thing, and they rarely see each other." Joshua Bam Bam Brown was always the practical one, calm, grounded, and private. After briefly leaving the show in 2017 to pursue a relationship with producer Allison Kagan, he returned in 2019, then quietly disappeared again. In 2020, he shifted focus to environmental innovation, reportedly launching a startup blending off-grid knowledge with modern tech. But in 2022, he was involved in a tragic car crash. Trying to avoid a collision, Bam Bam's truck clipped a Camaro, killing a passenger. He survived, but the emotional toll was heavy. In 2025, he honored Billy's memory by finishing the audiobook version of his father's memoir. He continues posting nature photography, but avoids drama and controversy. Bam Bam may live quietly, but it's with purpose. Bear was always the wild one, leaping from trees, scaling mountains, surviving anything. But life after TV was no less chaotic. He married Raven, had 3 children, and started rebuilding in Washington after leaving Alaska. By 2023, he was living in a rental home with his brother Gabe's family, renovating a school bus into a mobile house and selling comics to fund it. He teased spin-offs, Behind the Scenes with Bear Brown and The Next Generation, but neither has aired. In 2025, Bear and Raven announced their peaceful separation. However, Bear also faced a misdemeanor domestic violence charge. He accepted a plea deal, reconciled with Raven, and remains active online, still wild, still trying to reinvent himself. Gabe quietly transitioned from bushman to builder and dad of 2. He married Raquel in 2019, and together they moved to a safer, family-friendly home in Washington. Gabe dabbles in construction, portrait art, and music. In 2025, he released an acoustic song online that drew heartfelt praise. Though he underwent surgery earlier this year, Gabe reassured fans with a positive outlook and quick return to homesteading life. His eyeliner and artistic flair have sparked conversations, but he's been open about needing distance from toxic social media energy. Now he balances fatherhood, building, and creating, all while staying largely off camera. Noah Brown married Rain in 2018. Together they raised livestock, grew food, and built a YouTube channel around sustainable living. But things fell apart in 2025. After a wildfire destroyed their home in 2020, they rebuilt slowly. But then came the shock. Noah and Rain announced their separation via TikTok. Noah moved into the guest house, maintaining shared custody of their kids. Worse still, Noah and Rain filed a protection order against Rain Brown, alleging threats and substance issues. It was the first public sign of a deep family rift. Rain, meanwhile, had been through her own storm. Struggling with grief and depression after Billy's death, she sought professional help, stepped back from the public eye, and focused on healing. But in April 2025, Rain and her new husband Josiah were arrested for first-degree burglary and trespass, allegedly involving family property. They were released as plea talks began. Despite the arrest, Rain remains active on her ranch, sharing insights, encouragement, and pieces of her recovery. Birdie, or Snowbird, was the quiet one, connected to nature and cats more than people. But her journey has been one of silent strength. In 2022, doctors found 2 ovarian tumors. Surgery was successful, and they weren't cancerous, but she faces an 80% chance of reoccurrence. Regular tests and blood work have become her new normal. In 2025, she launched Birds of a Feather, her YouTube and Etsy business, selling handmade dream catchers and jewelry. She shares her quiet wilderness life online and continues to care for Amy during health struggles. Snowbird is one of the family's few anchors, a constant, earthy presence amidst the storms. The show wasn't without its scandals. In 2015, Billy and Joshua pleaded guilty to falsifying their residency to claim Alaska's permanent fund dividends. They served time and paid fines. Critics argued the family wasn't as off-grid as portrayed. Some claimed Browntown was built by crews. Others said scenes were staged or fake. Then came allegations of trespassing, violations of Alaska's Native Claims Act, and environmental damage from filming. Family drama peaked in 2025. Noah's child welfare report, Rain and Josiah's burglary arrest, and lawsuits tied to Billy's estate. Despite it all, there's no denying the Browns were skilled. They built cabins from moss and logs. They hunted with rifles and bows. They tracked bears, harvested rainwater, started fires in snow. They lived what they preached, at least for a while. These skills weren't just for TV, they were survival. And in today's age, that's rare. After season 14 aired in 2023, no new episodes followed. Discovery hasn't officially canceled the show. It's on hiatus. Bear says it's not over, but between legal issues and corporate shakeups, a return seems unlikely. In 2024, Bear promised a spin-off. In 2025, he teased another. Neither materialized. The legacy may continue through YouTube and independent channels, But for now, the cameras are off, and the wilderness is quiet. From off-grid icons to a family in the spotlight's harsh glare, the Browns have lived out every extreme: love, loss, growth, and grit. So what does resilience really look like? Sometimes it's hunting in the snow. Other times it's surviving addiction, divorce, or losing a parent. The Alaskan Bush People are no longer just a TV family. They're individuals finding new ways to live. Which Brown sibling's journey surprised you most? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more untold stories like this one, hit that like button and subscribe. And before you go, click the next video. Trust us, you won't want to miss what we uncovered next.